Hear about the Chinese spy balloon? Oh yeah, we talked about that on stream today a little bit actually. Yeah, I saw. And the Prime Rodell and Resub Shields, Freck and Loki. They shot it down when it was on its way out. Yeah, no, I saw the video. At least the one I saw, there was a lady filming and she said, "That's my American Air Force." As the thing just gets like fucking blasted. It was super hype. Yeah, I saw. And the resub picky. Huge L for the US defense system, showing that we can't even spot a balloon. Yeah, so I don't know all the particulars of the situation, but this shit is so silly. I saw what these balloons looked like up close. Like, look at that. That actually looks something homemade. That legitimately looks like something I would have whipped up at an arts and crafts festival. And there's multiple of these, apparently. They couldn't detect that, like, at all. Two of them? I thought it was three. But regardless, this video is fucking hype if this is the one I'm thinking of. No, this isn't the one. Where's the lady who says, "That's my American Air Force"? Where's she? Which video is that? I think the resub Joker in the Prime. That boy. And the resub John. And the bits. Moistest Copy and Fate. And the resub Tainan. It's low tech, which makes it harder to detect. Isn't that crazy? Thanks the Prime Smoke. I think about that a lot. My dad's really into like old vintage machines, automobiles, stuff like that. They can't recreate that anymore. Like, it's so old that it's no longer able to even be made for some of the shit that he likes, like old pinball machines, some of them, or like an old jukebox. Because the technology is so outdated that they can't do it anymore. That blows my mind. They did spot the balloon the moment it came into the US airspace, but it's the size of 3 school buses. That if it landed on civilian infrastructure, so they shot it where no one was. Oh, gotcha. I mean, I guess. Like I said, I don't know the whole particulars of it. I've only seen the video and what they looked like in the American Air Force. Where's that lady that says that? Surely one of these has her.
As we're watching the...
No, that's the news broadcast one. Is it this one? No, it says Nathan Jones. It was definitely a woman. I got excited. I heard a woman's voice. I thought it was the lady who said it. Guess not. Saw it on Twitter earlier, but I guess it's not on YouTube. Thanks the resub Nirmal and Dill. How did they know it was Chinese? I have no idea. I think they claimed ownership of it or something. Thanks the gift sub Thresh and the resub Adamant. NORAD tracked it from China. Well, why not intercept it before it gets here then? Or were they just as confused as the rest of us? Like, did a child let go of their balloon or something? What's coming this way? Man, there must have been a lot of helium in that balloon. It's still coming. Jesus Christ, remember that balloon that some child let go 15 hours ago? It's almost here. Thanks to the resub Zanover. Can't intercept outside our airspace. That makes sense. That might have been the reason. The vid you're trying to find is from channel 11 Alive. U.S. fighter jet shoots down Chinese balloon with missile. Jesus Christ. This one?
Here we go.
I think this is the one. I think you're right.
Boom!
That's my Air Force right there, buddy.
Oh, I thought she said it. That's my American Air Force. Damn. Whatever. Still cool. I like that. Just a little spectator sport. Everyone gathering around to watch the balloon get shot. I will say, though, I feel like there's very few air forces on the planet that wouldn't be able to shoot down a stationary balloon that's, like, being pushed by strong gusts of wind. Like, I feel like you could get a crop duster. Like, you can get old Huckleberry in his old single prop plane, take off with, like a pistol and just drive by and shoot it. I feel like that's the easiest target in the world to hit. It's very high. Yeah, maybe it's deceptively high. It's 60,000 feet in the air? Holy shit. Man, it must have been a real clear day to be able to see that. Yeah, it was fucking big. Yeah, someone said 3 school buses. It was the size of 3 school buses. Thanks to resub Alex and the gift sub Cape and tier 1 Mao. Gift sub Brando and the bits Simi and the Bungie. Nah, I didn't see that one, boy. Imagine they shot down the balloon and the US anthem is on at that moment. Oh, that'd be huge. I'm surprised they didn't have like I don't know, something cool like bagpipes going or something, playing like a sad song on the way out. Shit could have been real hype. The missile that shot it down cost 400 grand. 400 grand well spent. This is a memory that'll last a lifetime for everyone that got to watch this live. I bet they were all standing out there with their hands out, hoping to catch it on the way down. That balloon flew over Canada, too. Oh, shit. Thanks to tier 1 Abigail. And the Prime Matt. Yeah, the Dead Space remake was great. Thanks for the bits, Gugu. This is the first time an F-22 has shot down an enemy aircraft in its entire history. 32.4 billion development cost, best spent. Oh, that's huge. Wait, really? This is their first dogfight? Let's go. That's big. And let that be a lesson to anyone out there with balloons. Not welcome here. There's a picture of an F-22 with one balloon painted on the side. That's actually that's actually fucking sick though. That's cool. Thanks to resub Nosau and Shitter. The speedruns are going great. You see Netflix AI generated anime backgrounds. They did anime backgrounds from what I saw. I think it's a tier 1 panini. There's a magnitude 7.8 earthquake in Turkey right now. Jesus Christ. That sounds fucking horrible. Does Turkey get a lot of earthquakes? There's a tier 1 trash bag in the prime D's. Yeah, they do. Shit. Well, 7.8's no joke. I just watched Knock at the Cabin too, and an 8. Well, we're getting into spoilers. Never mind. But yeah, 7.8's no joke. You guys watch that Joe Biden? Oh my god, I don't know about the whole assault weapons thing, but Jesus, I thought this was AI generated. We're entering this time period when I see something so unbelievable, I immediately assume it's AI generated. I'm sure most of you saw about the shooting today. And I saw on Twitter that Joe Biden had made a conference to talk about it. And the clip that was floating around was like, I can't believe Joe Biden said this at the beginning of the conference. And I was like, oh, this is going to be like Joe Biden and Trump playing Overwatch or something. And it opens with him talking about fucking ice cream. He said, the only reason I came down here is for some ice cream. And he was making jokes. And he's like, whose kids are those back there? Those are some fine looking kids. Stand up. And I was like, oh, this is a really fucking silly AI video. And it turns out it's all fucking true. Like, that's actually how we started this conference with the school shooting. I about lost my goddamn mind. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't fucking believe it. Here, I'll pull it up real quick. It was baffling. It was actually fucking baffling. This isn't even the whole thing. It really felt AI generated.
My name is Joe Biden.
See, like, even the laughter sounds canned. The laughter sounds canned. I was like, no way. There's no way this is real. There's no way.
I'm Dr. Joe Biden's husband. And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip. I came down because I heard there was chocolate chip ice cream.
Keep in mind, this is after a fucking shooting that took the lives of multiple children. And this is how he's starting it off, like it's a Netflix comedy special. I swear to God, I thought it was AI. I thought I was being pranked on Twitter and I was about to be the victim of misinformation or whatever. But it's fucking real.
By the way, I have a whole refrigerator full upstairs. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. God. Ben, how are you, pal? One of the best guys in the United States Congress, Ben Cardin.
It sounds like you're watching the Amanda Show. Like, it sounds like on Nickelodeon for the fucking Amanda Show, every time something happens and they're like laughing or clapping. It is fucking surreal.
Folks, welcome to the White House.
It was so weird. It doesn't even do the next part, but I also love the way that ends there. Welcome to the White House. Live from New York, it's Saturday Night Live. Felt like he was about to go on his fucking monologue. I mean, honestly, his fucking jokes at the beginning of this are better than Saturday Night Live, I guess. Talking about ice cream or whatever. Where is the whole thing? Is this it?
Before I begin to speak, the reason I spent a little time with the kids, I just want to speak very briefly about the school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. You know, Ben and I have been doing this
Man, what a flip. Thanks to the 10 gift subs, Binder. Appreciate it, man. From raving about ice cream to getting into the school shooting. Quite a segue. Where is the rest of that statement? Because the whole thing is crazy here.
So, your school local?
Welcome to the White House. It's a delight to have you all here. And who are those good-looking kids back there? Are your kids, all four of them? What the fuck? Well, stand up, guys.
What the fuck? It's so bizarre.
Well, I want you to know.
Like, just look at this. President Biden remarks on Nashville school shooting, and this is a live report. It's a circus. It's crazy. So this is right after he was talking about his ice cream. I only came down here because I heard about that fucking delectable ice cream. I can't wait to get in there and just go turbo piggy mode on it and eat ice cream. Hey, those kids back there. 4 kids. Whose kids are they? Stand up, kids. Can we get a round of applause for these kids? All right, sit back down. Talking about kids, there was a school shooting today. It's not the same event. Is it not? I'm pretty sure it is, right?
All right, this is very soul of the nation. And we have to do more to protect our schools. So they aren't
It's the same event. What are you talking about? You're lying. You're making shit up.
The shooter in this situation reportedly had 2 assault weapons and a pistol, 2 AK-47. So
How fucking tone deaf do you have to be to start an address like this with this kind of serious subject matter, with talking about ice cream and telling some kids to stand up so people can clap for them? Fucking crazy, man. Like, I'm calling out AI on, like, everything that makes no sense to me anymore, and this is the one time I was wrong. I was so sure this was an AI-generated moment, but it turns out it was 100% authentic. You couldn't AI script something as unbelievable as that. Thanks to the Prime. Twinkies and the resub. Parker and Stimulus and the resub. Liumo and Gilded. That's a good point, Pool Dog, yeah. And yeah, the Meat Canyon video was amazing. He's opening for another conference. Shootings happen every day in your country. That's not an excuse. What the fuck? Why are we having these, like, delusional excuses for it? Regardless of where you lean politically, this is a terrible look. Yes, school shootings aren't the most uncommon thing in America. I get it. You know, that's not a big gotcha. That people know. But that doesn't mean that you can, like you should trivialize it. Like, all right, we'll get to the school shooting in a moment. Have you guys heard of Ben & Jerry's? What's the deal with Ben & Jerry's, huh? It's nothing like old Mima's Bluebell recipe, right? I only came down here for some fucking ice cream. Yeah, that shit was crazy. That shit was fucking crazy. Thanks to the resubs, Smitty and Lugnuts. I got a feeling those Joe Biden AI videos about to go fucking crazy after this one. They're about to go Insano style. They got a lot of good voice data from this conference they can use. No, that was not AI. That was 100% real. Unless it's the most convincing AI of all time, and this entire statement was done by a body double. I'm a teacher 30 minutes from the Nashville shooting. Scary time we live in. Yeah, and it certainly doesn't help when the president's talking about ice cream and shit like that before getting into the school shooting and making it sound like it's all just like a joke. Yeah, I just had to share that real quick. Someone reminded me. I saw it, probably like an hour before streaming. My jaw was on the floor. Now I'm going to start believing Joe Biden and Donald Trump Overwatch videos. I'll be like, maybe these are real. There is a chance now. Watch the first short on your screen and read the top comment. It's fucking hilarious. Worth it. Trust me. I'm going to trust you, and if I don't giggle, you're going to feel real fucking stupid, aren't you?
Here we have a breakaway rider coming into shot. Joe Biden rides for the United States of America, leader of that team, and he's going to cross this pedestrian crossing.
Didn't giggle, but a cool clip. I saw it.
Good. He's got eyes up, left foot's out, good hip dexterity there, out of the boxed pedals. So he doesn't have clip-ins, doesn't have flat pedals. He's got the cages, notoriously
this is a thorough breakdown.
Tricky. He's running some sort of motocross gloves or gardening gloves, not sure which, and he's doing this eyes up. He's not looking down. He's doing this just on feel. getting that left foot out. And you think, he's safe here. Where's he going to fall down? He's got the weight out, foot out. He's home and hosed. No, the problem is, look at his right foot here. He's still got eyes up. He can't get out of the box. Then he puts pressure down there. His body weight's done. At this point, he's over, and Biden goes down hard. This could be his GC over. Here we have a breakaway rider.
That was a good breakdown of that. And the bits, Chris. Oh no, that video was great, Chris. Yeah, Meat Canyon killed it. Absolutely crushed it. He's a prime drifter. That's scary. He's like 80. Yeah, the dude's like invincible at 80 years old. He falls down every time he looks at stairs, and yet he doesn't have any big injuries, or at least doesn't seem like it. I mean, shit, I'm 28, and if I fall down the stairs, I'm going right to the ICU. Like, this man, he's just built different. Those bones are made out of fucking tungsten. How come he's not watching the debate? I never watch the debates. This is the only one that I've been somewhat interested in watching just because of how outrageous it seems, and from all the clips I'm seeing, it's even more so than I expected with Joe Biden actually not being able to put together a sentence. I just clicked on the first article that came up when it said debate, and I'm getting like a transcription. My son was not a loser. He's not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser. Joe Biden. Every clip I've seen here so far has been like the same energy as my favorite Joe Biden clip where he's like, America can be summed up in a single word. Foothills and the Malaysians. That seems to be like the whole debate right now. The debate's live streamed on CNN's YouTube channel. Is it? I looked through 3 different articles, not a single one of them said that. Alright. 1.5 million watching. Damn, this YouTube channel's popping.
Another $8,000. Anybody making under $70,000 a year can be able to get $15,000 toward the tuition. He just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
So I've dealt with politicians all my life. I've been on this side of the equation for the last 8 years.
Am I allowed to watch this while on YouTube? I don't know how that works actually with CNN. On Twitch I know it's fine, but I don't know if YouTube allows it. I'll let this ride a little bit longer to see if I get a DMCA notice.
That general got fired because he's the one who acknowledged that that's what he said. He was the one standing with Trump when he said it, number one. Number two, the idea that we're going to be in a situation where all these millions and millions, the way he talks about it, illegal aliens are coming into the country and taking away our jobs. There's a reason why we have the fastest growing economy in the world, the reason why we have the most successful economy in the world. We're doing better than any other nation in the world. And by the way, those 15 Nobel laureates you talked about being phony, those 15 Nobel laureates, economists, they all said that if Trump is reelected, we're likely to have a recession and inflation is going to increasingly go up. And by the way, worst president in history, 159 presidential scholars voted at him the worst president in the history of the United States of America.
President Biden, thank you so much. Let's turn to the cost of child care, which many American families struggle to afford.
No one
President
here looks
Trump,
human.
You and President Biden.
Well, like the way that they look, it just looks so not human. I watched it wasn't a VFX team, it was a practical effects team going over like some of the masks they use for their animatronics, and it actually just looks like both of their skin. Like, it actually looks like their faces. They legitimately don't look real. They're so old. These are subvert you. Yeah, I'll turn it up. It's just, I imagine it's just from Biden because he's kind of like ASMRing it, at least from all the clips I've seen.
He never fired people. I've never seen him fire anybody. I did fire a lot. I fired Comey because he was no good. I fired a lot of the top people at the FBI, drained the swamp. They were no good. Not easy to fire people. You pay a price for it.
I hope everything goes well, imagine.
I didn't put Comey there. He was no good. I fired him. This guy hasn't fired anybody. He never fires. He should have fired every military man that was involved with that the Afghanistan horror show, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. He didn't fire. Did you fire anybody? Did you fire anybody that's on the border?
What does that have to do with the question of what would he do to make childcare more affordable? Did I miss something?
Many from prisons, many from mental institutions? Did you fire anybody that allowed our country to be destroyed? Joe, our country is being destroyed as you and I sit up here and waste a lot of time on this debate. This shouldn't be a debate. He is the worst president. He just said about me because I said it. But look, he's the worst president in the history of our country. He's destroyed our country. Now all of a sudden he's trying to get a little tough on the border. He came out with a nothing deal, and it reduced it a little bit, like this much. It's insignificant. He wants open borders. He wants our country to either be destroyed or he wants to pick up those people as voters. And I don't think...
And so that's what you'll do for childcare? What does this have to do with the question?
Our country doesn't have a chance, not even a chance, of coming out of this rut. We probably won't have a country left anymore. That's how bad it is. He is the worst in history by far.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden?
We're the most admired country in the world. We're the United States of America. There's no
Damn right.
capacity. We have the finest military in the history of the
Our
world.
fucking cheeseburgers and titties, baby.
The world. No one thinks we're weak. No one wants to spend
Everyone
money.
loves America.
Nobody. Number one. Number two, the idea that we're talking about worst presidents. I wasn't joking. Look it up. Go online.
Thanks, Zeki.
159 or 58, don't hold me the exact number, presidential historians. They've had meetings and they voted who's the worst president in American history. One through best to worst. They said he was the worst in all of American history. That's a fact. That's not conjecture. He can argue they're wrong, but that's what they voted. The idea that he is doing anything to deal with
It's just the RNG, the form at the top for the giveaway.
Virtually nothing to child care. We should significantly increase the child care tax credit. We should significantly increase the availability of women and men or single parents to be able to go back to work. And we should encourage businesses to have.
Thank you, President Biden.
Facilities.
President Trump, the question was about what would you do to make child care more affordable, if you want to take your minute.
Just so you understand, we have polling, we have other things that they rate him the worst because what he's done is so bad. And they rate me, I will show you, and they rate me one of the best, okay? And
Mr. Trump, the question was about childcare. Shut the fuck up. This guy's the worst.
I'll be the best. Nobody's ever created an economy like us. Nobody ever cut taxes like us. He's the only one I know. He wants to raise your taxes by 4 times. He wants to raise everybody's taxes by 4 times. He wants the Trump tax cuts to expire. So everybody, including the two of you, are going to pay.
And the children.
Times. Nobody ever heard of this before. All my life, I grow up and I see politicians talking about cutting taxes. When we cut taxes, as I said, we did more business. Apple and all these companies, they were bringing money back into our country. The worst president in history by far, and everybody knows it.
President Biden?
Look, the fact of the matter is that he's dead wrong about.
This is like two kids arguing.
Increase.
No, this guy smells the worst. Your face is stupider.
I said I never
Check the polls. Look at the facts.
$400,000. I didn't. This tariff is 10% tariffs. Everything coming in the country. You know what the economists say? That's going to cost the average American $2,500 a year more because they're going to have to pay the difference in food and all the things that we're importing. Number two, he's in a situation where he talks about how he has not raised, he's somehow helped the middle class. The middle class have been devastated by you. Now you want a new tax cut of $5 trillion over the next 10 years, which is going to fundamentally bankrupt the country. You have the largest deficit of any president in American history, number one. Number two, you have not, in fact, made any contact, any progress with China. We are the lowest trade deficit with China since 2010.
Thank you, President Biden. Thank you, President Biden. Let's discuss an epidemic impacting millions of Americans that both of you have made a top priority in your first term, the opioid crisis. And for both of you, the number of overdose deaths in this country has gone up. Under your term, it went up. Under your term, it has gone up.
Well, let me just say, as president, I'm going to go through and slap every single goddamn needle out of everyone's hand. That's how I'm tackling it.
Overdoses every year, primarily from fentanyl and other opioids. What will you do to help Americans right now?
Boots on the ground tactics.
Addiction, who are struggling to get the treatment they need.
To finish up, we now have the largest deficit in the history of our country under this guy.
Can you stop asking me questions? I'm not answering them.
China.
So back to about who's the worst.
China. He's a Manchurian candidate. He gets money from China. So I think he's afraid to deal with him or something. But do you notice he never took out my tariffs because we bring in so much money with the tariffs that I imposed on China. He never took them away. He can't because it's too much money. It's tremendous. And we saved our steel industries, and there was more to come. But he hasn't done that.
I guess, Dylan,
He hasn't cut the tariffs because he can't, because it's too much money. But he's got the largest deficit.
Yuriko's a very popular one if you want to try Yuriko, Commander Steuben.
The worst situation with China. China's going to own us if you keep allowing them to do what they're doing to us as a country. They are killing us as a country, Joe, and you can't let that happen. You're destroying our country.
So, President Trump, you have 67 seconds left. The question was, what are you going to do to help Americans in the throes of addiction right now who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
Jake, we were doing very well at addiction until the COVID came along. We had the 2.5, almost 3 years of like nobody's ever had before, any country, in every way. And then
drugs were extinct for a little while.
The drugs
Everyone knows that.
Across the border, it started to increase. We got great equipment. We bought the certain dog that's the most incredible thing that you've ever seen. The way they can spot it.
Yeah, the super dog, Flippy.
And we were getting very low numbers, very, very low numbers. Then he came along. The numbers. Have you seen the numbers now? It's not only the 18 million people that I believe is even low because the gotaways. They don't even talk about gotaways. But the numbers of the amount of drugs and human trafficking.
Joe, are you alive over there? What?
Coming across our border. The worst thing I've ever seen. At numbers.
It's like looking at a cadaver.
Under him because the border's so bad. But the number of drugs coming across our border now is the largest we've ever had by far.
President Trump, thank you. President Biden?
Fentanyl and the byproducts of fentanyl went down for a while. And I wanted to make sure we use the machinery that can detect fentanyl. These big machines that roll over everything that comes across the border. And it costs a lot of money. That was part of this deal we put together, this bipartisan deal.
Yeah, good question, Adari.
More be able to detect drugs, more numbers.
Oh, that's huge, Farm.
Of agents, more numbers of all the people at the border. And when we had that deal done, he called his Republican colleagues and said, "Don't do it. It's going to hurt me politically." No, he never argued it's not a good bill. It's a really good bill. We need those machines. We need those machines. And we're coming down very hard in every country in Asia in terms of precursors for fentanyl. And Mexico is working with us to make sure they don't have the technology to be able to put it together. That's what we have to do. We need those machines.
Thank you, President Biden.
I've got an alternative strategy, Mr. Biden.
Americans in the throes
to tackle the opioid crisis, why don't we get everyone addicted to Pokemon and magic cards? They won't be able to afford drugs.
He ended catch
It'll
and release,
boost our economy as well.
Release in Mexico, not catch and release here. We had so many things that we had done, hard negotiations with Mexico, and I got it all for nothing. It's just like when you have a hostage. We always pay $6 billion for a hostage. Every time we say it's a hostage. Now we have a hostage, a Wall Street Journal reporter.
It's crazy, huh?
I think a good guy. And he's over there because Putin is laughing at this guy, probably asking for billions of dollars for the reporter. I will have
that'd be
him
a big
out
strat regret.
very quickly. As soon as I take office, before I take office, I said by literally as soon as I win the election, I will have that reporter out. He should have had him out a long time ago. But Putin's probably asking for billions and billions of dollars because this guy pays it every time. We had 2 cases where we paid $6 billion for 5 people. I got 58 people out, and I paid essentially nothing.
Thank you, President.
The art of the deal.
Let's turn to concerns that voters have about each of you. President Biden,
you're old.
86.
Oh,
the end of your second term.
Yeah.
How do you address concerns?
Oh, he looks to be in good health.
About your ability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being criticized being the youngest person in politics. I was the second.
That was back when we were still etching on tablets, Joe.
Senate, and now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3 years younger and a lot less competent. I think that just look at the record. Look at what I've done. Look, I've turned around the situation he left me. As I said, 15 million new jobs, 800,000 manufacturing jobs, more investment in America, over billions of dollars in private investment in enterprises that we are growing. By the way, we brought an awful lot of people. Well, the whole idea of computer chips. We used to have 40% of the market. We invented those chips, and we lost it because he was sending people to find the cheapest jobs overseas and to bring home a product. So I went to South Korea. I convinced Samsung to invest billions of dollars here in the United States. And guess what? Those fabs, they call them, that to build these chips, those fabs pay over $100,000. You don't need a college degree for them. And there's billions, about $40 billion.
Man, I've heard the word billion already 40 times.
In the United States, creating significant jobs for Americans from all over the world.
President Biden, you have 40 seconds left. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I would. The idea that somehow we are this failing country.
The question is about your age, brother.
We're the envy of the world. Name me
Talk about riding a bike or something.
Country president wouldn't trade places with the United States of America for all our problems and all our opportunities. We're the most progressive country in the world in getting things done. We're the strongest country in the world. We're a country in the world who keeps our word, and everybody trusts us. All of our allies and those who he cuddles up to, from Kim Jong-un, who he sends love letters to, and Putin, etc. They don't want to screw around with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for explaining why you're not that old, actually.
At the end of your second term, what do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Like go through the first 5 questions. He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year. And, you know, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way. And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape.
Did they have a golf 1v1? I miss it on Rust?
25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced them. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took another one, a similar one. And one of them said they'd never seen anybody ace him.
God, I love the way he speaks.
President Biden.
I took some cognitive tests. It's the highest scores I've ever seen. It was off the fucking charts. I haven't seen it since fucking Albert Einstein was alive. So I love that. It's so silly.
Well, anyway, that's what anyway, just take a look at what he says he is.
Thanks for 5 gifted members, Hoffman.
Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
It was a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
This is the worst thing I've seen in my life.
But I had,
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
Okay,
let's not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to
Let's not act like children.
I can hit a ball 255 yards with my eyes closed.
That voters have about you.
One hand behind my back.
Will you pledge tonight that once all legal challenges have been
There's
exhausted,
a 5
that
gift
you
sub,
will
Speedy.
accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins, and you will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable?
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements...
Honestly, just, have this next debate over the back 9.
You would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made, in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to, and I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol, and in many cases were ushered in by the police.
True Cryptic.
And as Nancy
Thanks for 5 gifted
Pelosi
members,
said,
David.
it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you something.
In between questions, it looks like Joe Biden temporarily powers down to conserve battery.
At one of my many
then
places,
reactivates halfway through.
I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent, because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here. The only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president.
Yeah, I guess.
But I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him. His policies
and not enough
are
golf.
So bad. His military policies are insane. They're insane. These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. We are very, very close to World War III, and he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him. They don't fear him. They have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
You want a World War III, let him follow and win, and let Putin say, do what you want, NATO. Just do what you want. There's a thing called Article 5. An attack on one is an attack on all, a required response. The idea, I can't think of a single major leader in the world who wouldn't trade places with the job I've done, what they've done. Because we are a powerful nation. We have wonderful people. It's because of the people, not me. It's because of the American people. They're capable of anything, and they step up when they're needed. And right now, we're needed. We're needed
on the golf
to protect
course.
The world, because our own safety is at stake. And again, you want to have a war, just let Putin go ahead and take Kyiv, make sure they move on, see what happens in Poland, Hungary, and other places along that border. Then you have a war.
President Trump, as I come back to you for a follow-up, the question was, will you accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins?
Just to finish what he said, if I might, Russia.
I fucking love that.
They took a lot of land from Bush.
The question was, don't care. Hey, you want a war? Step outside.
Took no land.
I'll show you a war.
From Trump, nothing. He knew not to do it. He's not going to play games with me. He knew that. I got along with him very well, but he knew not to play games. He took nothing from me.
Oh, sweet. Well, thank you for that, Mark. I hope you're doing well.
Now he's going to take the whole thing from this man right here. That's a war that should have never started. It would have never started.
The 10 gifted members, Hoffman.
And he's going to take Ukraine. And, you know, you asked me a question before, would you do this with... He's got us in such a bad position right now with Ukraine and Russia. Because Ukraine's not winning that war. He said, I will never settle until such time. They're running out of people.
God, the way Joe Biden looks at people reminds me of the movie It Follows. I just watched that for the first time. Like, if for some reason I was in this debate and he was looking at me like that, I'd be terrified.
Stupid decisions. Russia would have never attacked if I were
President Trump, the question was, will you accept the results of the election, regardless of who wins? Yes or no, please.
If it's a fair and legal and good election, absolutely. I would have much rather accepted these, but the fraud and everything else was ridiculous. And if you want, we'll have a news conference on it in a week, or we'll have another one of these in a week. But I will absolutely, there's nothing I'd rather do. It would be much easier for me to do that than I'm running again. I wasn't really going to run until I saw the horrible job he did. He's destroying our country. I would be very happy to be someplace else, in a nice location someplace.
Oh, Jesus,
again,
Ollie, thank you for the big drop. Thank you for the generosity.
No political opponent stuff, because it's the only way he thinks he can win. But unfortunately, it's driven up my numbers and driven them up to a very high level, because the people understand it.
Let's see what your numbers are when this election is over. Let's see. You're a whiner. When you lost the first time, you continued, you appealed and appealed to courts all across the country. Not one single court in America said any of your claims had any merit, state or local, none. But you continue to provoke this lie about somehow there's all this misrepresentation, all this stealing. There is no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what, I doubt whether you'll accept it, because you're such a whiner. The idea, if you lose again, you accepting anything, you can't stand the loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time.
We'll be right back with more from the CNN presidential debate, live from Georgia.
And what a fiery debate it is. I think maybe one question has been directly addressed. Perhaps. Ish. Kind of. Loosely. Tangentially, maybe. I think the most cohesive segment was when they were talking about golf. This is pretty interesting. Oh yeah, gotta get some more zins. What a presidential election cycle this one's shaping up to be. Thanks for you said BG. Well, now I'm hooked. Now I gotta finish watching it. God damn it. Age limits are looking good. Hey, if nothing else, this is making a strong case for why there should be an age limit. 100%. Fucking Joe Biden, when asked the question about what he's gonna do, like how he addresses people that say he's old, he immediately just spiraled like, America's great. America's fucking amazing, honestly. What a great country. Oh, I'd love to see the golf 1v1, honestly. They should honestly treat debates like a triathlon. Like, yeah, this can be a component, but then the next heat is on the golf course. And then Joe Biden can pick biking or something, I don't know. Absolutely not, would not do that, Jimenez. Thanks for your Galaxy, no shot. Sorry, Jimenez. What's the point of this debate? Showmanship, really. I don't know. It's fucking performative, really. Kind of just a song and dance. I don't usually watch them. Membership Garsh. Oh, sorry. It was just the ads, so I just waited for the commercial break. Because I think the commercials will actually get me flagged. Thanks, membership, Richie. In the tier 1 Gumbus. Thanks, membership, Jay-Z. Thanks to tier 1 Raren. What happened? Oh. Thanks, Goose. Sounds terrible, society. I would not do that. Thanks, Yusuf Jolly in the Prime Winter and Dark. Oh, we're back.
It is now time for the candidates to deliver their closing statements as predetermined by a coin toss. We're going to begin with you, President Biden. You have 2 minutes.
We've made significant progress from the debacle that was left by President Trump in his last term. We find ourselves in a situation where, number one, we have to make sure that we have a fair tax system. I ask anyone out there in the audience, or anyone out watching this video,
Me?
do you think the tax system is fair? The fact is that I said nobody even making under $400,000 had a single penny increase in their taxes, and will not. And if I'm reelected, that will be the case again. But this guy has increased your taxes because of the deficit. Number one, he's increased inflation because of the debacle he left after the way he handled the pandemic. And he finds himself in a position where he now wants to tax you more by putting a 10% tariff on everything that comes into the United States of America. What I did, when, for example, he wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. Well, guess what? We got it down to $35 for insulin instead of $400. No more than $2,000 for every senior, no matter how much prescription they need. You know what that did? That reduced the federal debt by $160 billion over 10 years because the government doesn't have to pay the exorbitant prices. I'm going to make that available to every senior all along, or it's happening now, and everybody in America. He wants to get rid of that. I'm going to make sure that we have child care. We're going to significantly increase the credits people have for child care. We're going to make sure we do something about what we're doing on lead pipes and all the things that are causing health problems.
Lead
people
pipes?
across the country. We're going to continue to fight to bring down inflation.
Is there a lead pipe epidemic?
Thank you, President Biden. President
What?
Trump, you now have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Like so many politicians, this man is just a complainer. He said, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to get rid of this tax, that tax. And he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do, all he does is make our country unsafe by allowing millions and millions of people
I
to
didn't
fall
even
in.
know this was an
Our
issue going
military
on.
doesn't respect him. We look like fools in Afghanistan. We didn't stop Israel. It was such a horrible thing that would have never happened. It should have never happened. Iran was broke. Anybody that did business with Iran, including China, they couldn't do business with the United States. They all passed. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah, for terror, no money whatsoever. Again, Ukraine should have never happened. He talks about all this stuff, but he didn't do it. For 3.5 years, we're living in hell. We have the Palestinians and we have everybody else rioting all over the place. You talk about Charlottesville. This is 100 times Charlottesville, 1,000 times. The whole country is exploding because of you, because they don't respect you, and they have to respect their president, and they don't respect you throughout the world. What we did was incredible. We rebuilt the military. We got the largest tax cut in history, the largest regulation cut in history. The reason he's got jobs is because I cut the regulations that gave jobs, but he's putting a lot of those regulations back on. All of the things that we've done, nobody's ever never seen anything like. Even from the medical standpoint, right to try, where we can try space.
No one's ever seen anything like it. The best in history,
Asia,
actually.
or going to Europe and trying to get, when you're terminally ill, now you can go and you can get something. You sign a document. They've been trying to get it for 42 years. But you know what we did for the military was incredible. Choice for our soldiers, where our soldiers, instead of waiting for 3 months to see a doctor, can go out and get themselves fixed up and readied up and take care of themselves, and they're living. And that's why I had the highest approval rating in the history of the VA. So all of these things, we're in a failing nation, but it's not going to be failing anymore. We're going to make it great again.
Thank you, former President Trump, President Biden. Stay with us because we have full analysis of this debate.
Oh,
Anderson
damn.
Cooper and
I thought maybe
Aaron
there'd be like
Burnett
one more, like an
starts
epilogue
on
statement.
CNN.
And one more time, I'll take Trump any day on the green. What happened? It got so somber there. Is everything okay? What is happening over there? What was they look so lost? What just happened? Well, I didn't get to see the whole thing, but man, what a conclusion that was. Did the debate leave you in high hopes for the country? Yes. Did it not leave you in high hopes? That was pretty cool. I feel like if nothing else, we've got some great golf on the way. I know, that'd be kind of cool. Like I said, I think if they treated it like a triathlon, it'd be fire. Debate into golf into like whatever Biden wants, I think would be fire. That'd be so good. Oh, you guys think I'm old? Watch this. What sport could Biden play without hurting himself? It doesn't have to be a sport. You guys, you're hung up on sports. It could be anything. Like he could challenge him to an ice cream eating competition, maybe? Who can eat the most ice cream without big tummy ache? Doesn't have to be athletic, per se. What would a Charles debate look like if he was to run one? If you want like a real answer, let's say I was in charge of hosting this presidential debate, the number one thing I would enforce, and this is like one of my biggest pet peeves across all debates, not just like actual political ones, but even just like streamer shit. If you are asked a question, your fucking response needs to be geared towards the question. And the second you veer off course, I would cut you off. I would actually stop your train of thought. That grinds my gears so much. It's so ridiculous. Like, I understand it's kind of hard to do that sometimes when you're in, like, the heat of conversation, like, trying to make a point. Sometimes you'll go off the path to make that point. I get that. But to not even come close to addressing the question at hand, I would shut that down ASAP. I hate it. I hate that. I don't think I've ever seen Biden play golf. Actually, here, I'm going to look it up. Has he ever been videoed playing golf? Like, I can't even imagine his body moving like that.
Kneecaps.
Okay, they didn't catch him in action. Is there any video of him in the act of hitting a golf ball? Like, this isn't a big ask, right? Like, did I type it in stupidly? I don't think so. This was 8 years ago when he was still a young spring chicken in his late 70s. Guys, look at him. It's a young man. How time flies. Okay, well, I've seen him putt, and that's half the game. Why are you not watching the debate? Brother, it just ended. We were watching it. What do you mean? It just ended. I'm not gonna rewatch it. Like, that was so good, I think I'll try it a second time. So what's gone down today that was wild? The biggest one is Biden dropping out. It's been like a crazy week and a half in politics. An assassination attempt, Biden getting COVID, Biden dropping out, Skibbity Biden. It's been crazy. So you saw Kaya's tweet? I did, but Skibbity Biden is something that's been living in my head for a minute. Skibbity Biden is SNL's worst crime. Well, do I have some news for you? I dislike SNL as much as the next guy, but it wasn't SNL. That was Colbert. Oh, did he take down? Wasn't the clip on the official channel for it? Must have taken it down.
Skibbity Biden.
Skibbity Biden. Skibbity Biden. Skibbity Biden. Joe. Skibbity.
Nope, it's not SNL. That's Colbert. I can't believe that didn't seal the election right then and there. I'm not gonna lie. Can't tell if that's to promote Biden or criticize him. I couldn't tell you either. All I know is it's a very powerful segment. How do you feel about taxes going to zero and everything will be fixed forever? What? How old are you? I don't know if that was serious or not. It's always so hard to tell. Did you hear Drea De Matteo from The Sopranos just admitted that her 13-year-old son edits her OnlyFans photos? Your phrasing of that really isn't indicative of how she talked about it. She was proud of it, as if it was a normal thing. Yeah, I did see that. Here, I'll pull it up for you. She was on like a podcast and was talking about her OnlyFans work, and the question came up about like her 13-year-old like working for her. And she was like, oh yeah, no, he edits my OnlyFans photos, so let's come talk to me about, like, Mom, what do you want me to do about this bikini line? And of course I don't let him see any of the other girls' stuff, or whatever.
Queen.
You're doing girl-on-girl collabs.
Yes, because
we are switching this pot up. Okay, let's get...
Blackjack in Alabama, my kids are out there. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. I'm really sorry, but they know.
They know who their mama is.
Before you start, your son was outside saying he edits your OnlyFans photos.
Oh, yeah.
That is
like,
demented.
What do with the bikini line here?
Yeah.
That is just demented. The shamelessness is crazy. I don't know how that's not like a crime. Doesn't that have to be some kind of like... I guess I don't know what OnlyFans content she's talking about. But like if a 13-year-old is editing pornographic content, that has gotta be illegal.
So you don't have to apologize to them, I don't think.
No, but they don't see the girl shot.
I also cannot believe the response from these two. He's acting like this is some kind of normal thing. Like, I remember when I was a 13-year-old boy and my mom came up to me and said, hey son, you want to make a couple quarters this summer? Edit my porn. And I said, all right. Simple blue-collar work. Put some hair on your chest. And then she says that she loves it. That's unhinged.
I do go over that with them before I ever put them out. I was like, are you okay with this? Because it's like, if I were to do it in a movie, because I would make out with girls in movies all day long before I'd even make out with boys.
names but really I think the same
download
way,
for the plane,
the same way that you to have these conversations with your kids, I think you need to call me before you do it. Also,
Torch Queen.
So I haven't seen the full clip or anything. This guy seems kind of creepy, but this whole thing is absurd. So she's saying like, oh yeah, I'd make out with girls all the time in movies, you know. So I check with my son to make sure it's okay. Like, what? Having a 13-year-old edit your OnlyFans content has to be illegal. Like, I don't understand how in her rotted brain she thinks that those two things are comparable, where her making out with like other women on screen is somehow like even in the same ballpark as having your 13-year-old son edit your OnlyFans photos. Like, in those movies or whatever where you'd be making out with other actresses, your son is not on the director's staff telling you to do it or editing the content. It's fucking gross. I don't know anything about this lady at all, All I know is that's some shit that should earn you a one-way trip to the Slammer. I checked out her OnlyFans out of curiosity. She doesn't do nudes, but it's obviously still sexual content. Okay. Curiosity got the best of you. Did you pay for it? That's big investigative journalism. But it still doesn't change anything. Even if it's still not nude, editing sexual content is... having a 13-year-old edit your sexual content is absolutely foul. Her kids should unionize. That's so true. I won't use any more Photoshop on my mom's titties until we're paid a fair wage. Give us 10,000 more V-Bucks. Hell no, I didn't pay. I just found an archive of her OnlyFans content with all her photos and videos. Sure you did. You hear Florida police are telling people to stop taking selfies with the depressed black bear. What does that mean? Police warn gawkers not to take selfies with depressed Bruin sulking on Florida road. No. What's he so upset about? Because this black bear is stressed, depressed, lemon zest. What? Onlookers were trying to take selfies with the bear and he's clearly not in the mood for pictures. Poor thing. Bear did not appear to be injured. It might have just been overheated and was resting before moving on. The dude just took a breather and became like a whole fucking Florida attraction. You hear the actor Armie Hammer denied being a cannibal. That's just what a cannibal would say. I remember those rumors though. I don't know all the shit about Armie Hammer, but I remember the cannibal stuff. No, Armie Hammer used to be... well, Armie Hammer had rumors that he was a cannibal. And apparently he's come forward now to say he's not a cannibal. Oh, this headline's kind of crazy. Armie Hammer confronted about cannibalism and rape claims by Piers Morgan. So I'm guessing that's why Armie Hammer's being talked about again. There's a media scandal in 2021 after messages allegedly sent from him detailed graphic sexual desires and cannibalistic fetishes. He was subsequently accused of rape and abuse by various women, but consistently denied any wrongdoing and was not charged for sexual assault. Here.
Now, because so much of my life go. Oh,
this is not the cannibalism stuff. Oh, here.
Let's first of all address that elephant in the room. Are you a cannibal?
You know what you have to do to be a cannibal?
But the reason they would believe it is because you said it. I'm 100% a cannibal. You ever eaten any human flesh?
Not a question I'd ever thought I'd have to answer, by the way.
How many women were there from 500?
Sure. This was a very intense, very sexually charged between two people. Different people have
Please membership written. Resub juice and Tessellite.
Different than when someone looks at a baby and goes, "Oh my God, look at those cute little fat legs! I just want to eat you up."
What?
You were saying, grabbed a knife, held it to your throat, raped you all. Everything else seemed boring. You crying and screaming, me standing over you. I felt like a god. It'd be devastating to read that. Are they true?
I don't remember.
Is this just like a Sizzler reel?
They could be true.
None of those people were hurt.
Okay, this is all just like a Sizzler to promote whatever or whenever the episode goes up. Okay. He actually said that in response to the cannibal claim. He denies being one, but doesn't deny him saying that weird shit. Gotcha. That sounds so cool. What an interesting guy. You see the video of the guy casually dapping up Joe Biden as he walks into the Waffle House? It's on Twitter. That was like 3 weeks ago, and that was the most staged shit ever. You think Joe Biden actually daps people up on purpose? You remember that cannibal roleplay site? Cannibal Cafe. And it went from roleplay to a very real instance of cannibalism with Edwin Meaves, I think his name was. Edwin Meaves, I believe. Have you heard of the movie Orgasmo, written by Trey Parker and Matt Stone? I've heard the name, I never watched it. I remember that and Basketball. I actually watched Basketball by accident. I didn't purchase it, I was a kid. I had my parents purchase it for me at Best Buy back when they used to have like the movie rack. And it's because I thought it was a movie about basketball. I misread it. I was fucking stunned when I watched that movie for the first time. What the fuck are you talking about? The old, the old movie, Basketball. How's it spelled again? I think it's like that, right? Yeah, this one. Have you seen Team America World Police? Yep, long time ago. I used to be on a huge South Park / Trey Parker Matt Stone binge. So I saw most of their work, I just never saw Orgasmo. Have you heard about the recent salmon sperm facial trend going on right now? Both Kim Kardashian and Jennifer Aniston have done it. A salmon sperm facial. Why salmon sperm facials have enchanted Kim Kardashian and Jennifer Aniston? Using the reproductive goo of a fish. What? It gets injected into her face? Jennifer Aniston shared that an aesthetician got her into salmon sperm facials too. Why? Spermine, an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory agent found in sperm and cells in the human body, is good for skin. The DNA fragments are compatible with humans. Awesome. Hey, good for them. If they're happy with the salmon sperm, who am I to tell them to stop? I'm not gonna go slap the fish's cock out of their hand. You do what you want.